go. We are recording. Romaine Washington is an Inland Empire native and the editor of These Black Bodies Are, a Blacklandia anthology. She is the author of the mini memoir in poetry Purgatory Has an Address from Bamboo Dart Press, and is a twice publisher nominated pushcart poet whose work has also been nominated for Best of the Net. She is a graduate fellow of the Watering Hole and Inland Area Writing Project, UC Riverside. After a late in life diagnosis of neurodivergence, she realized how much this often talked about, seldom understood condition has impacted her life and relationships. She wanted to create a collection where Black creatives could share their stories, 88 mental health stories. Washington's hope is that this collection will continue to help break the silence, foster conversations, and create connections with people who love those with a mental illness or who struggle with it themselves. You can find out more about Romaine visiting her website, romainewashington.com. And upcoming presentations, be sure to tune in to kcaaradio.com this Monday evening at 7 p.m. She will be on the I Love San Bernardino County show. If you are in the area, come on down to the Riverside Library Community Room Thursday, July 23rd from 6 to 7:30 p.m., where she will share some of her poetry with a dynamic presentation archiving Inland Empire Black history. I am so bummed because I have my kid that night. Well, I love that I have my kid that night, but I hate that I've got to miss. um, last but not least, if you are in the Los Angeles area on July 25th from 10 to 5 p.m., SoCal NCNW is throwing a block party with vendors, food, and games, and she will be there selling and signing books. And I would invite if anyone has their own planned event for the book, if you want to share that my way or flyers that you have created my way, I could post it on the Inlandia Instagram page, and that way we can get the word out to the communities that that you're a part of. And Romaine will take it from here.
All righty. Thank you. And I know about now we are doing speaker view instead of there we go. Thank you so much, Isabel. One of the things that I want to do before we get started with our first reader is this project is near and dear to my heart for a lot of reasons. And I want to thank everybody who's here, who is in the collection, for your hard work, your honesty, and your care. It took a while before people started submitting their work. And the first person that submitted their work quickly withdrew it. And I thought, oh my goodness, as we talked about it. And so I just want to read you a little bit of, I wrote a 2-page email to persuade this person to keep their work in. And so what I said to him, I want to say to all of you, you are a healer. Writers are healers. We're griots. We're teachers and prophets. This anthology is a submission call to healers, and you all answered the call. This is a difficult challenge to write about trauma, abuse, diagnosed and undiagnosed mental illnesses. It is painful for us to live through, and it's painful to carry the secrets of those experiences. And not just for us to live through them, but for our family members and friends that we've seen. For those of you, and I'm off script now, and I think I'm going to stop here because it goes on for quite a few pages. I might publish it on my Substack, the email. But for those of you who know about Bebe Moore Campbell and have read her 72 Hours Hold, you will know that July is Minority Mental Health Month because of that book. And if you're familiar with the story, you know just how much it impacts family and friends when someone is suffering through a mental illness. And you also know about how oftentimes in the community and outside of the community, a lot of people will self-medicate, as her story tells. So if you haven't had the chance to read it, it's a powerful read. And we want to thank and honor Bibi Moore Campbell is no longer with us, but her work lives on. And we want to thank her and honor her for having written that from the inspiration of her own life's journey. So I really wanted to draw attention to that. And again, thank you all so very much. Without further ado, because we have quite a list here, we're going to start with, and I've asked everybody, and I need to say it again, if you have the book, please give the page number that your work appears on. That way, if somebody is here and they want to follow along, they'll be able to turn to that page. So our first reader, our inaugural reader, is Devin Mitchell, and he has been writing poetry since he was 13. He is now an alumnus of California State University, San Bernardino. He is currently an MSW student at Simmons University. This is his second publication with Blacklandia, and he hopes it resonates with the readers. Devin Mitchell, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I hope you guys can hear me. I wrote this poem called Aftermath. Um, it's on page 183 or 183. And it's about homelessness and mental health in the Black veteran population. Can you guys hear me?
There's something cutting in and out, like a little, not cutting in and out, but there's something I could hear in the background. I don't know if anyone else can hear it.
Can you hear it now?
Isabel, I think there's something with the speaker view. Can you guys, is it
Yeah,
highlighted?
I'm gonna do it right now. Yeah.
It should be on Devin.
Oh, is it?
There we go. There we go. Thank you. Oh, wait, now it went back to me. Devin, say something.
Hello? Okay. So do you guys want me to begin again?
Go ahead.
Okay, yes. So the poem is called Aftermath. It's on page 183, and it addresses homelessness and mental health within the Black veteran population. So if you guys want to follow along, it's on page 183. I hope you guys can hear me. So I'm gonna begin. Dead heat of August. Heavy traffic on Foothill, by the side of a mini mart, not too far from a bus stop. I watched the vet build his house out of tree branches and dirty sheets, pulled from a dumpster. He smells like rotting meat and mint toothpaste. He brushes his yellow teeth with an old brush, gray with dirt spots on the handle, and only a few bristles. Bathed in sweat, he covers his oily face with a camouflage shirt, almost hiding the scars on his neck and the many failed hangings. Old black vet with an amputated leg lost to an IED shrapnel in the Gulf War chirps his story at birds as he feeds them bread. During a tour in Kuwait, he befriended a ring-necked parakeet to talk to about comrades paralyzed in fear, shot, blown up. His guard dog is a pit bull, white with black spots named Bone. People feed him scraps sometimes when the vet is not home. His wallet is a cup he waves at passers-by. When his cup is full, he buys water, gas station hot dogs, dog food, sometimes toothpaste and bread. After leaving the market, I hand him a new toothbrush, sandwich, water, and change. I call him Sarge. Best time in my life, till it wasn't. Ain't going to complain. Could be worse. Soldiers always got to be ready, even if we got no country to care. Thankful for those who do. He looks me in the eyes. That's the poem. I hope you guys heard that.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Devin. Ah, there we go. Thank you. Um, and the empathy it took in writing that and working with him. We really appreciate your voice. Next on our list of readers, we have, I'm looking at request, Mervyn Seivwright, who is calling in from Germany. Let me read Mervyn's bio for you. Mervyn Seivwright writes to balance social consciousness and poetry craft for humane growth. He is Jamaican born in England. He has appeared in AG&I, African American Review, Salamander Magazine, Poetry.online, and 85 other journals across 13 countries. He is the 2024 Marvin E. Williams Literary Prize winner and a 2021-2023 Pushcart Prize nominee. His collection is Stick, Hook, and a Pile of Yarn by Broken Sleep Books. Without further ado, we have Mervyn.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm truly glad that I met Romaine through this process. We had some really good discussions. I also need to thank Devin for his poem because uh, I served 22 years for the Air Force active duty. I still worked as a GS for the Air Force for the last 10 years, and I'm still serving to that capacity, working at the Air Force headquarters in Europe. So I know those stories, Devin. I really do. So I appreciate that. This piece is called Neurotic Animation. So on page 151. Um, the cultures of who I am, they process when I process, I guess, the things that I'm dealing through. So you'll hear stuff like the London Underground, but I was born in South London. So all those things are like really interconnected with who I am, even though it crosses our community, whether it's in America, the Caribbean, or England, or through African connections. So that's really important. All right. Neurotic animation. I feel flares through curtain fissures strike me from slumber. My mind running to catch the last car on the train. My brain, a pulsating core of a steam engine chugging with a crescendo, despite achieved goals written on a poster board centered on my bedroom wall, falling short of society's expectations, flunking fatherhood, years of forfeited finances, melanin not matching chess pieces in play. I lash my back to wipe out sins of failure. It's not enough. While I do not serve my heart an overripe peach, ill-tended, worried about the rest of the orchard around me. My words are tangled seaweed. The gavel of judgment slams when my mouth opens. When words play hide and keep hiding, bubbling oxygen while rising just shy of the sea's surface. I want to stop. The train in my head along loose tracks, bend to the left, then right. A London underground tube, speeding turn, crying out in a canyon. I want to sleep. My faded thread is thin, steady, not ready to be cut. I won't cut it. I can't falter. Scratching sound screeching the blackboard. The rules have vanished. The chalk is rubbed out. I linger. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And you have some comments in the chat there. Ooh, what a powerful reading. Oh,
Very
um,
powerful.
Thank you. Violeta, I believe, has just come in, and I know whether you're having some weather challenges where you are, Violeta, so we want to get you while you're here. So our next reader, if you're ready, hopefully you're ready, is a mother. Violeta Antonette is a mother, wife, mental health professional, and aspirational contemplative writer based in Detroit, Michigan. She runs a therapy practice that focuses on helping Black women heal from complex trauma and racial stress. One of her favorite pastimes is watching comedy specials with unique perspectives on the political state of the world. Learn more about her at www.violeta-emdr.com. Violeta.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, even as we navigate the weather. I'll give a brief introduction to my piece. It's called Organs to the System, Lessons from Fibroid Removal Surgery. I wrote this at a time when I hadn't considered that I would ever have any reproductive issues. I think that's how hubris and feeling invincible as a human being works. I think that's how youth sometimes works. And so this surgery really was a humbling experience and its own initiation into the human experience. So I'll begin now. Organs to the System, Lessons from Fibroid Removal Surgery. It's hard to remember not every ounce of energy gained has to be spent. It's hard not to spend that hard-earned energy on work or thoughts about work. It's hard to remember that the medical recommendation to lift no more than 15 pounds the first 2 weeks post-op includes your 20-something pound amazing kid. In hubris, it's hard to remember. This one strong body you have is fragile flesh, vulnerable to benign tumors, poor air quality, and the strain of a short walk to the nearby toddler park. If there's no practice, it's hard to remember which order to take your medications. When you think you are clear-headed, it's hard to remember post-surgery you may feel better than you actually are. When does practice come in? Does it come in before or after your life-changing event? When do you remember hubris has done everything from kicking 17 million off of Medicaid to revoking US aid, instigating wars, and believing in our crumbling empire that will survive? With whom do you practice shedding your hubris? Let me settle into this here flesh and rest. Let my energy be used for its right purposes. May I not use it frivolously. May my bladder and intestines, low back and hips, uterus and bowels be given unrestricted funds of resolve to care for themselves and the system. May resources be reallocated in interest of the highest priority of this here recovering body. May I thank my organs with the same fervor that I show up in church saying thanks be to God. May I thank this glorious body given to me by the Creator and treat it as the precious, fragile rarity that it is. May my lungs breathe with emotion like a petition from a Mojuba prayer. May my temptations to do just a little too much be mediated so that this here body has the power to heal. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. That's one of my mantras. Thank you so much. And I'm glad that the system worked. We were able to hear you read that. Thank you so much, Violeta. Our next, I'm going to start to sound like I'm in church pretty soon. It just is feeding me so much. Oh, good. Oh, good. Wonderful, Carmen. Our next reader is Angela M. Franklin. She is an author, poet, essayist, documentarian, former journalist, and visual artist from Los Angeles, California. She holds an MFA from Antioch University. Social justice issues and helping others find their voice are among her passions. Her work has appeared in a variety of anthologies. She is currently working on a memoir about growing up in Los Angeles and a book of poetry about her brother's struggle with mental illness. And that is what we're going to hear some from, and eventual death because of it. Without further ado, Angela Franklin.
Hello, everyone. I'm just really full at this moment, having just heard the work so far and just being in this company of greatness. So I won't take too long. I was going to read about my brother, but I think right now it might be a bit too much for me. So I'm going to read this other piece, and inspired by it because of a event I attended this week called Black Women for Wellness Fireside Chat, and it was on reproductive justice conference. And so I think I need to bring this piece. It's called The Birthing Chamber, and it was inspired by an actual event that happened down in Florida. You could hear her screams, subhuman, worse than a black bear caught in a steel trap, recalled an ear witness to Eyewitness News. An abandoned black woman, pregnant, bipolar, schizophrenic, tethered to a jail bed, was in labor. See, this is how they treat us. The ear witness told story with back to camera, said, never again ever would she want to hear what never again ever would she want to see what she saw and hear what she heard the day a prisoner gave birth alone. They thought Tammy was oblivious to pain, her addiction to self-medicating cocaine, the howling patient shunned and shamed. Guards insisted crazy black women don't feel pain. See, this is how they did her. The woman's womb broke open. Old Caesarean keloids stretched and wept. Labor's cruel tentacles pierced and pinched. Help, she shouted, pushed and squatted 7 hours. Baby coming now. God, it hurts. It hurts. Please, please, please. Somebody, please help me. Oh, oh God, it's coming. Help us. Somebody have mercy. Please help me. Oh Jesus. Sympathy pains punctured nearby vaginas. Inmates and cells recalled their own birth agony, wept with Tammy, screamed for help, but jailers played sadistic roulette with mother and fetus's health. See, this is how they did them. The blood-splattered birth chamber resembled remnants of a Santeria ceremony in the divided states of America, a nation quilted in hatred where even a dog gets more mercy. Miranda fell from her mother, hit the floor, and wailed. With palsied arms, Tammy cradled her bloody, mucus-covered baby and whispered, Mommy is so sorry. Thank you. And I'm sorry I forgot to tell y'all the page. Um, that was on page 180, 188, I think. 185. Sorry about that. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela. Thank you. All right. Our next reader here is, let's go with Angelique DeVonish.
Hello.
Hi, Angelique.
Hi. I'm so glad to be here. That poem was moving. And I think my poem is about previous panic attacks that I used to have when I was going through at the time. It's called Panic Attack on the Edge of Oblivion.
Yes.
Um, oh, were you doing the introductions or
Oh, you know what? See, I got so into the poetry, I just started becoming a
I'm like,
listener.
yes, that felt
She was
kind of
like,
quick.
"Where's my introduction?" So I am so sorry. I'm ready to, I'm hanging on. Okay, Angelique DeVonish is a poet, writer, orator, and I hope I'm saying your last name correctly.
It sounds beautiful when you say it. It's DeVonish, but it sounds better when you say it.
DeVonnich, I'm sorry. Angelique DeVonnich is a poet, writer, orator, and visual artist who hails from the Bronx, New York, by way of Bowie, Maryland. As a Black American lesbian spiritualist, Angelique's work showcases her intersectionality and how her unique navigation of life challenges ideas around identity, autonomy, and self-empowerment. Angelique.
Thank you. Um, I actually don't have the book, so I read at my phone. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to read. Can you still hear me if I read from my phone? If I'm here, am I still able to be heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'll read from here. So it's called Panic Attack on the Edge of Oblivion. It starts with a throb. Before I can brace myself, the floor gives way and I sink into the night. My heart speeds up. It's arrhythmic drumming in my ear, turning up the volume. Not so much a song as a warning. I'm going to stop in a second. Dread tries to bear its face. I scream, pressing hands against skull as if to squeeze out the panic. I moan, regretfully closing my eyes. Dumb move. In the dark, I run the risk of tumbling into the abyss. Tiptoeing on its ledge, arms sprawled out, leaning against the deteriorating. I breathlessly watch them fall into the one by one and hear a voice echo back, going crazy, a fate worse than death. I open my lids as fast as I can and move. Keep moving. Got this. Touch ground. I'm here. There's nothing to fear. I repeat until my voice holds true. Fighting tooth and nail against the counter energy gunning for my soul. Finally, stride catches in sync with heart, and I return to some semblance of normalcy. Oh, Angie.
Thank you, Angelique. We lost the visual of you. Did you go off camera on purpose?
I didn't mean to. I only had I had the poem on my phone, so I don't know. I guess I can't do both at the same time. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, no,
But
no. That's fine. Thank you for you read that with the poise of someone who it's almost hard to imagine you having a panic attack, but that is the deceptiveness, right, of having emotional or mental challenges where it's an invisible challenge that we
absolutely,
have. So thank you
absolutely.
so much.
Thank you for the opportunity, Romaine. I appreciate it.
Yes,
And
thank you.
everybody. Thank you for listening.
Our next poet, our next reader, I should say, is, oh my goodness, um, Dana Hunter. We have some great comments in the chat. Be sure and read your chat. comments. All right, Dana, thank you so much. You were one of the first people that came on and ready. And I really appreciate you. All right, here we go. Dana Hunter is a top poet in NAMI, New Jersey. She goes by the pseudonym of Roulette. Dana Axelrod Expressive Arts, is it Dara Axelrod Expressive Arts Poetry Contest? That's the NAMI New Jersey poetry contest she won. Her micro chapbook, Excavating a Relationship, is published by Bottle Cap Press. She has been featured in Heather Stuyvesant's Phrases at Pleiades Gallery in New York City, published in the Decolonial Passage Literary Magazine. Songs or Erzsets, the Journal of Undiscovered Poets, Table, Feast Literary Magazine, and Open Minds Quarterly. Dana advocates for the end of stigma against mental illness through her writing.
Okay, hi, my name is Dana. And the first poem I'm going to be reading is called Scars. It's featured on page 101.
Thank you.
Scars. Follow the lines, connect the dots. My razor is kind with the images it wrought. Can your fingertips read the braille on my body? Bumps into letters, letters into sentences, lengthened stories. My skin has a tale to tell. Each scar is a witness to triggers. Held inside and released in reddish pain. I hide behind mirrors, events, journaled into flesh.
Thank you.
The next poem is Underneath It All. It is featured on page 150. Underneath it all. I can feel my taut skin like the covering of a breaching whale, nudging its way to break surface. I feel it twisting beneath. It's frightening at times, and I fear it as much as you. My breaching whale is hidden underneath a membrane of medication, pharmaceutical protection, my final escape. I am grateful for medicinal magic. It's something that can control a mind which has a will of its own. Underneath it all is a violent and turbulent sea. I am fine and feel safe as long as I remember and am aware of its existence. Underneath it all. And the final poem is called Waiting. It is featured on page 159. Waiting. I find myself swimming in uncharted moods. If life were to evolve with me instead of against the tide, this journey would unfold as a billowing wave. Once again, I am waiting in a pool of possibilities as droplets of hope linger between my toes, slowly dripping to form a shallow pool. maybe a year from now, I will be able to dive in and swim. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very powerful. Thank you for the pacing and allowing us to sit with those words. Our next reader will be Eric DeVaughnn. Eric DeVaughnn is a father and poet. He has hosted open mics, founded Innate Divinity Books, has a few self-published collections, and is a recurring judge for Poetry Out Loud. Eric teaches elementary physical education in San Bernardino, California. All his poems are cracked teeth, dusky yellow, and receding gum line lying limp on waxy, bright white paper, speckled red. Eric DeVaughnn.
Thanks, Romaine. Appreciate you reading the intro. Hello, everyone. I appreciate you being here. Just want to quickly check and make sure my sound is good. Are we good? Can you hear me?
We're good. We're good.
I have a couple poems in the collection. I'm going to read one from the collection and something that's not in the collection. The first is Moon Slick. It's on page 120. Some boys are taught to tremble, to temper their boil and burn through stippled scars and best not look like the trauma they are. Mamas lather sons in grease and shine given to this ritual hunt for all the ways to reflect a daylight we only know how to dim. Poem. As I mentioned, this next piece, last piece, is not in the anthology. It's untitled and it appears in possibly an upcoming collection. There is repetition in this, just so you know. It's the same thing read 3 different ways, according to the punctuation and other reasons. All around are invitations. The ascending platform of this truck seems a gallows offering up sacrifice to the god of warehouse lights. You have reread the poem, stripped away the coarse, tepid tease. All that is left is music. You are become a soulful lyric, waning shadow cast lengthwise, a large and lilting melody. All around are invitations. The ascending platform of this truck seems a gallows offering up sacrifice to the god of warehouse. Lights you have reread, the coarse tepid, tease all that is. Left is music you are become, a soulful lyric waning, shadow cast lengthwise and large, a lilting melody. All around are invitations. The ascending platform of this truck seems a gallows offering up sacrifice to the god of warehouse lights. You have reread the poem, stripped away the coarse, tepid tease. All that is left is music. You are become a soulful lyric, waning shadow cast lengthwise and large, a lilting melody.
Before you leave, Eric, I want that second poem. I love that second. Will you please read that second poem?
I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see. It will take a minute to find it.
It is on page 224.
Yes. You know what? Here it is. Sum up a day compiled of single steps. You ask why more than usual, the pestering breath of want. You try to write your way out of a paper bag. Why bother? You look for shadows to point you home. There is a fearlessness when death seems your own invention. Your neck does not swivel. Your eyes refuse to kiss colors they once loved. Focus on shutter and sluice. Each foot shuffles independent of the other, but you make your way forward. Rote, repetition, routine. Rote, repetition, routine. You contemplate the gradual stretch of shadows. Fill a brown paper bag with reluctant breath. It shakes, free of your chest, to no ovation. You do not ask why.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Our next reader is Jasmine Vallejo-Love. All righty, good. We have you up there, Jasmine, so we can see you. And let me get your bio here. Oh, wait a minute. I think I alphabetized wrong. Give me just a moment. Here you are. Jasmine Vallejo-Love is a disabled Afro-Puerto Rican American poet and writer living in Los Angeles. Her poetry and essays engage with social issues such as mental illness, domestic violence, addiction, and sexual assault. A Diana Woods Memorial Award finalist 2025, Lambda Literary Emerging LGBTQ Voices Fellow, and selected for PEN America's Emerging Voices Workshop. Her work has been anthologized and appears in journals such as Lunch Ticket and Choya Needles. Find her on Instagram at Cafecito. I'm sorry, yeah, Cafecito. Oh my gosh, with Jazz. I'm sorry.
No, okay. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. The first poem, so I've got 4 poems in the collection. We'll see how many I can read in 5 minutes. The first poem is on page 124. It is about emotional abuse, and the title is You Never Laid a Hand on Me. You never laid a hand on me. You didn't have to. I flinched at the lunges and fake-outs, acquiesced to the raised fists, quieted at your yells and growls. A firm look was enough to attenuate my resolve. No, I should never say a word about who I really am. Your misogyny wafted like intoxicating perfume, carrying the weighted message, bury it deep. I dug a 7-foot grave, extra, for good measure, lest you try to trick me out in a drunken rage. So sure-footed in my deception that years beyond your house, lying in the muck you created, I denied my butterfly wings. Now frail, your salty words fall short of stinging as I worm my way out into sunshine. Okay. So that was the first poem. The second poem is on page 155, and it is called Being Bipolar. And I wrote this poem mostly because when we hear about bipolar disorder, we hear about the hypomania side of it. And, folks doing things like running naked in the street or that kind of thing where, bipolar appears differently in different people. And so I wanted to write a poem about what it looks like to live with it on a daily basis and still manage a healthy life. Being bipolar. There is absolutely nothing wrong, really. Good job, some say amazing, decent health, physical and emotional pain, but tolerable. Loving, caring, loyal, respectable husband, albeit too jovial. A cute home, owner, not renter, to grow old in. A non-yappy dog. Parents alive, well, but 3,000 miles away for a reason. Friends, many, some like family, some for decoration. There's absolutely nothing wrong, really. Except sometimes the world is without its color. There's yearning for feelings that can't be reached. A wonder if they'll come, if their existence was real, and in that limbo, death seems easier. But orchestrating it would take too much effort, and I want nothing but sleep. Activities of daily living neglected, can't worry about consequences, social life non-existent, career possibly stalled, partner feels ignored. There's absolutely nothing wrong, really. Except other times my eyes can't rest. Hues as vibrant as being in CGI fantasies, like a psilocybin-induced altered reality, blinding whites, blood reds, boundless blues, brain waves overload, thoughts shoot like wild bullets from machine guns as casings hit the pavement, the little clinks, lost tidbits of memories. Then everything needs to align. The curtains ironed, books in size order, wine by maker and grape and year, closet, pantry, kitchen, office, torn apart and reset, at work, organized and hyperproductive. And then there is absolutely nothing wrong, really. As suddenly as it begins, it ends. Air tastes crisp. The shine on the hardwood floors is a reminder of its luxury. On the drive to work, the SoCal scenery brings a smile and a tear. The sound of his voice is a relief. He's chosen to be here again. My family of friends fills the crevices, and the role of matriarch is resumed. Provider, therapist, negotiator. The trips are just another quirk. Everybody has one at least, or so we like to say. So that was that poem, and I've got one more short one on page 123, and it's called Drawn to Abusive Men in My Youth. I floated to dysfunction like a barge, slow, as if there was no ample warning. Signs of paranoia and jealousy, some bright orange depressions bobbing in the sea. That isla was not bonita. Swamped with broken bones and memories, the mist of anger and regret like fog I couldn't claim to see clearly. But it was foreshadowed in rough nights and rude calculations. A turn left or right would have saved me. But I was beached in sour connotations on that isla of exploitation, steeped in the soil of the soulless. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much. That's Jasmine Vallejo-Love. All right. And our next reader is, oh my goodness, Beverly Head. And while we wait for Beverly to come up on the screen there we go, with her sassy hat. I love it. I'm gonna have to get some sassy hats. And Beverly just put this really short bio in the anthology. And we have never met in person, but I have known Beverly for over 20 years, 25 years to be, as a matter of fact, over 25 years. She is The author of Walking North and winner of the Naomi Long Magic Poetry Award, but she was also a professor for many years, and she continues to teach and encourage in everything that she does. Beverly Head.
Could you give the page number? I don't have the book in front of me.
Oh, okay. You're gonna make me look it up. I should remember where Sonia is. Um, you know what? We'll just go on ahead and flow. How about that? And people will just have to close their eyes and listen.
Okay. Sonia was written as a poem of witness because she was murdered on July 6th, which is my birthday. Perhaps she had her own evil spirits to battle, but in front of her house, she looked like an angel in her long white robe. The two cops claimed that they were there to help. She tried to explain to them about prowlers, her broken car windows. They asked for her ID, came into her home. As she searched through her clutter of papers, she had an inkling that something was not right. She asked for a Bible. The big one told her to dump her steaming hot water from the pot that was on the stove. When she turned from the stove with the pot of hot water in her hands and looked into his face, she realized that she had allowed a demon into her home. She tried to rebuke him in the name of Jesus, but it was too late. Angry that his true face had been revealed, the demon swore, yelled that he would shoot her in her fucking face. He drew his gun. She said that she was sorry. He shot Sonia in her head. The demon declared, "She's done."
Thank you. Thank you. Oof. So we are at the halfway point. Do we want to take a stretch break? Or do we want to keep on moving?
Stretch break.
Keep moving.
Yeah, some people, Eric's like, keep moving, keep moving. Okay. All righty. I tell you what we're gonna do, because we've had a lot of poetry, but not so much. Let's see who. Let's have one more and then we'll take a stretch break and then for about 5 minutes just to get some water and stretch a little bit, and then we will finish our reading up. I would love to go with Alora Young to close us out on the first half of the reading.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you going to introduce?
Introduction.
Will you be introducing her, Romaine?
You're muted. She's muted. Does she know she's muted?
No, I didn't know. I'm just rambling. I really need a stretch. Oh my goodness. I'm just talking about you and what a powerhouse you are. Let's see. Alora Young is, if you have the book, as this isn't in her introduction. Alora and I met to talk about her writing and editing. And as we're talking, she goes, "Oh, I do photography too." And I said, "Oh, let me see some of what you have." And a lot of the photos in the book are Alora's creation. She did this whole photo shoot. So she's multi-talented. And she is the fifth youth poet laureate of the Southern United States. Her book, Walking Gentry Home by Penguin Random House, was named the debut of the year by the Nashville Scene, received a starred review in Kirkus, was nominated for a Goodreads Choice Award, and was a bestseller on Amazon. She was a Presidential Scholar of the Arts, a two-time TED speaker, and a Davidson Youth Genius Grant Fellow. She is a Best Young Actress Award winner as well as a poet, and has performed her poetry on CNN, CBS, Time, and many other channels. Without further ado, Alora Young.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm just going to read this one poem from the book. I think there are two in here, but I'm just going to read the main one. And it's called, long title, The Intrusive Self-Awareness Posed by a Long Day of Avoiding Responsibilities in a Fruitless Attempt to Ward Off the Pressing Urge to Simply Give Up, Lay Down, and Cry. And here we go.
Alora, can I interject real quick?
Turn up
I
the volume.
want, no, actually, I was going to ask you to read the other poem too.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. What page is the other? I know the intrusive self-awareness is on page. I saw the other one just to say, oh, wow, look at the table of contents. That's always what it's for. And the table of contents, that's a picture. See, I'm in here a lot because I have pictures in here, but I got to know which one's a poem.
It's you know which one. I'm the one that goes with the picture with the
Ode to my
medicine.
ode to my
Yes,
antidepressants.
yes. I want both of those. Yes.
Yes. Okay. There's the antidepressants picture. And that means here it is. I found it.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a little sick, but we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it through. Okay. I'm gonna start with ode to my antidepressants then, because I just found it. Ode to my antidepressants. I have a confession to make. It's not queer. Actually, I am queer, but that's not the confession we're here for. As a poet, I need to keep this like a secret. For the first time in my life, I'm happy. My chemical imbalance and all its bitter malice has been tamed, and I haven't been the same since I met fluvoxamine. The word just rolls off your tongue, and it fills me with not love, but awe. And honestly, I've never thought I would feel this way about a girl. I mean, pill. I take it home with me and I keep it in my bedside drawer. At first, my parents didn't approve of it. She's a little lab grown, synthetic kind of friend, but in the end, they came around because they found out it, knew how to make them happy too. And now we all have our little chemical embellishments of varying relevance that takes great precedence over other things I pack for vacation. 6 pairs of underwear and 10 Vyvances, minimum. I feel like the bobcat that had clawed its way into my chest has finally been evicted. It was not paying rent. We had to go to court. It was ugly, but paliperidone is a great lawyer. And now we take life as a team, me and hydroxyzine, and I've never been happier. For the first time, my skin feels like it sits right atop my muscles and bone, and me and all my medically prescribed friends are finally at home. My pills are a prophecy for a life I long to live, a world that I honestly wasn't sure that God would give, but my mind is finally healing from all I have survived. All this has left me reeling, wide awake and alive. Every morning I choose happiness. Every evening I choose peace because medicine is the best medicine to tame a mental beast. I will take fluvoxamine like the Eucharist, the brilliant and the flawed, the healed and the humanist, the image of our God. I will take my daily pills and my daily bread. I will soothe the scared child that lives inside my head. I will peer into the future to see all I now can be, and I will be happy to realize all I have to be is a better me. And then this next one is very different. The intrusive self-awareness posed by a long day of avoiding responsibilities in a fruitless attempt to ward off the pressing urge to simply give up, lie down, and cry. I know I am depressed when I feel the itch in my fingers to write a poem, to crack myself open upon the seams like a gourd, all lumps and carbuncles, a smooth seam from the teeth of a machete. And I dig around in the halves of me for the answer to the doubt, for the clock that pervades all I am with the temperamentally ticking bomb it is undoubtedly attached to. I am a new kind of person, a schizophrenic who camps out in classrooms instead of asylums, with an old school kind of brilliance, the meddlesome kind for 20-year-old geniuses who die by 30. I persist in living. I will be accepting congratulations on behalf of a series of chemical compounds, the most exciting of which being Mr. Paliperidone and his wife, fluvoxamine. They say the first sign of society is a healed femur, that we know people civilize themselves when the sick do not simply get left behind to die. In a civilized country, my mother wiped my forehead as I cried, nearly catatonic, paralyzed by delusions and demonic spirits. Every day I wear a face upon my face that fronts like the brain behind it does not have teeth. that it does not gnaw at itself like my psyche is an arm stuck under a boulder, that the arm is the only thing standing between me and dying painfully and alone. I have been tended to very gently, but my beloved classrooms do not have room for fragile id. I keep it hidden. I was not made for the pressure. I'm emotionally winded. I've been running so long. I feel like I'm breathing through a straw in the absence of myself. In the char black gulf of anxiety, I doggy paddled through. I clipped my nails too low, and now they hurt when I pick things up. I am haunted by incessant clicking with no origin. The pain in my fingertips surge as I dig into my ears for a mortal silence. It is a soft reminder of my human flesh. Despite how I dream myself to be superhuman and immortal, I am a fragile thing. A stick of room temperature butter on a counter, crushed by a toddler's sinking fingers. A consciousness that lurks like a sour taste in the mouth.
Thank you so much. Very powerful. So, do we want to take a break? Do we want to keep moving?
We can take just maybe 5 minutes. I think
Okay.
that would be good to stretch and
Yes,
do all we
let's
need to
take
do.
5 minutes. So let's do 5 minutes. We'll be back. Just get some water, stretch a minute, and come back. We'll see you just a bit. Justin, it's great to see you. Can we hear you to make sure your audio works okay?
Yeah, how's this? It's good to see you too.
Yes, looking good. Sounds good. We're taking a 5 minute stretch break and then we're gonna start with you,
Cool.
okay? Do you know what you want to excerpt you want to read?
Yeah, I remember just read from the beginning.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I said let's stretch, and I'm sitting here just reading comments and giving hearts. And Alora, you got so much love in this chat. I hope you're checking it out. Um, oh, let me get this other book and I'll be right back. Get rid of my background here so I can show. Ah, well, what is this? This is still a background. Huh.
It looks like you're coming to us from the heavens, Romaine.
Yeah, I don't know what it's doing. Let me see backgrounds. I'm trying to get rid of the background because you know how when you lift to show, oh, it's showing it okay. Okay, never mind. There we go. Let's see. Well, it's 5 minutes, so we're going to get started again. Our next reader is oh, I see what I did. Our next reader is Justin C. Key, and I am a huge fan. I forgot to get his other book from upstairs. I love speculative fiction. I'm an Octavia Butler nut. And yes, he has his book there in the background. And here it is. The Hospital at the End of the World was released in February. I think I'm frozen, am I? It was released in February and I bought it. I was in line to buy it on Amazon when I heard about it. And I'm just going to do a brief testimonial on it and I'm going to put something out there too. For those of you who love speculative fiction, I would love to get a group of us together to read The Hospital at the End of the World. And Justin said he would be willing to come and talk with us, answer our questions. And I have to tell you, I've read it once and I'm going back and I'm rereading it. And I had an appointment with my doctor. I hate going to the doctor. But after reading this book, I actually empathized with, I saw my doctor in a whole nother light that I'd never seen my doctor before. And I empathized with her. And I just looked at the complexity of what doctors do. And it wasn't like he was didactically telling me this in the book, but that's what good writing does. It allows you, it stirs your humanity. So, um, this is speculative fiction. What we have in the book, 88 Unashamed Mental Health Stories, is not speculative fiction, but I'm putting that out there and I'll be sending out an email. Those of you who want to get the book and read along, and we can talk and formulate questions, and then we can have Justin uh, answer those questions uh, and talk about its inspiration and so forth. So, now everybody should be back who's going to be back. And we have, I'm looking for, oh, where are you on here? Here you are. Justin C. Key is a practicing psychiatrist and a speculative fiction writer. He is the author of the story collection, The World Wasn't Ready for You. Another great book collection and the sci-fi thriller The Hospital at the End of the World. His stories have appeared in the magazines of fantasy and science fiction, Strange Horizons, Lightspeed, and on Tor.com. He completed his residency in psychiatry at UCLA and lives in Los Angeles with his wife and 3 children. And he will read an excerpt from his short story that opens the book.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that, and I've really appreciated your support. And I really, love the opportunity to be in this anthology. I say I'm a writer. I went to med school. I'm a psychiatrist. And a lot of the reasons, I didn't know psychiatry existed before I went to med school, but a lot of the reasons that I was drawn to psychiatry was just from my background growing up. And, it's been really great, I think, being able to connect with patients that are like, oh no, a Black psychiatrist. So it's amazing, I think, to be in this and to be part of this. So I'll be reading from my story in it, The Mushroom Garden, just the beginning scene of it. Austin, watch after your brother, Dad said to me. Joey, be good. Dad didn't wait for a response. He pushed our shopping cart to the side and went to exchange a carton of milk for one that wasn't lactose-free. Dad left us alone in situations like this more and more. He fought with Mom about it, that us boys need to learn independence. Maybe if they stopped coddling us, we'd grow up and out of whatever phase this was. Mom thought we needed more, not less. I didn't know. Maybe we would grow out of it. Maybe Dad just didn't want the bother. I suddenly felt alone in the large Brooklyn grocery store and joined Joey by the aisle to see what he had an eye for. My little brother was good at finding interesting things. What are you looking at, Joey? I asked. Joey was 5 years old and had never answered a single question, at least not in the way people expected. Still, I asked them like I would ask anyone else. Mom did too. The rare times Dad did, the question was covered in a flavor that said Joey would never really get it, that Joey was different. I didn't like that word or any of its ideas. Different. Special was much better. The way Mom said it, in that proud, accomplished sort of way. Joey stood still, his eyes fixed on the shelves of arugula, green peppers, and baby lettuce. His lips were a straight line under his nose, like a puppet's. I placed my ear to his and saw what Joey saw. Grow your own mushroom garden, the box said. It was tucked between packages of neatly cut portobello and a bucket of shiitake, twined together like jungle vines. The box was paper bag brown and the size of a milk carton. In bold letters on the top were the words, "Just add water and watch it grow. Fun for kids." I looked around. The grocery store was alive with people, and the space loud with the boops and the exchange of goods between carts, hands, and conveyor belts. I scanned for a wide-shouldered man with more hair on his chin than his head, and whose right shoulder dipped when he walked. I didn't see Dad. "This looks fun, huh, Joey?" I whispered the word fun a few times. Fun, fun, fun. The speech therapist I talked to through the computer screen said, "Practice, practice, practice." My focused brother traced the box's lettering with his finger. He mouthed words that didn't seem to be there, but I knew better. They had to be there. The way Joey saw things was special. I often wished I could see what Joey saw. Joey grabbed a bag of baby lettuce and put it over the row of boxes. Then he took it away, put it back, and took it away again. He repeated this peekaboo routine several times. Nerves grew fingers around me. Dad would be back soon. He didn't like Joey's routines, and he really didn't like wasting money. Would he see a box of dirt as a waste? Probably. From what Dad told Mom, there wasn't much left after all that the boys need. The routine done, Joey walked away from the veggie section of the produce aisle and crawled into the bottom of the shopping cart. The space used to be for packages of paper towels and bottles of water. Now it was for Joey. I checked again for Dad. The coast was clear. I grabbed the mushroom box and stuffed it in the cart. With its brown cardboard and faint lettering, it was easy to notice. I moved it underneath a loaf of organic bread and a bag of rice. "What are you messing with, Austin?" came Dad's voice. His hand gripped my arm and pulled it out of the cart. "You're going to mash the bread. I need you to be slow engine." Slow engine meant bringing things to a crawl, like Thomas the Train. Dad cut me off. Yes, Dad. No excuses. Yes, Dad. Dad let go of my arm. The slight indentation didn't hurt. The mushroom garden went unnoticed. Dad softened as we found an open cashier. You know I'm just trying to teach y'all right now, don't you, son? I nodded and held my breath as I helped unload the basket. Would Dad see the garden? Come on out, Joey. Dad dipped his head under the cart. It's time to go. Don't you want to help your dad pay? Joey ran his fingers over an invisible chalkboard. Portobello, he said. Joey, it's time to go, so come on. Portobello, Portobello, Portobello. I snuck the mushroom garden onto the conveyor belt and knelt down on the other side of the cart. I crawled forward, touched Joey's hand, and opened my mouth to start Mom's calming mantra. Dad's sharp voice made me start. I got it, Austin. The tired look in Dad's eyes spread. What was left of his smile went away. I often dreamed of him walking away after trying and failing to connect with Joey and never coming back. Moments like this made me fear my dream would come true. Dad stood up. I scrambled to cover the now moving garden with a bag of flour tortillas. I wasn't fast enough. Dad picked up the box and turned it like an alien artifact. He mouthed the words, eyed Joey, shook his head, and handed it to the cashier. We won't be getting this. Joey let out a wail. Portobello! Dad winced. He caught my stare and the cashier's worried look. Our father's jaw tightened. He bent forward and pulled Joey out, kicking and screaming. He got my brother under one arm. Dad was meaty and strong and had done this many times, but Joey, like me, was growing. For the first time, Dad struggled. Portobello, Portobello. Focus on the groceries, Austin, Dad said, stern and direct. I picked up the pace. Then, to the cashier, Dad said, You good? The cashier lowered his gaze. You, want bags? Yes, please. Thanks. As my father wrestled with Joey and the cashier scrambled for bags, a strange, exciting, thoughtless urge came over me. I lunged forward, my feet coming clean off the floor, grabbed the mushroom garden from behind the register and threw it back on the conveyor belt. The cashier saw. We locked eyes. He gave a half grin and rang up my secret. Dad hardly looked at the checkout screen as he swiped a shiny card. Dad carried Joey all the way out to the car while I pushed the heavy cart of bagged groceries. Joey stopped screaming for Portobello and yelled for Mom. I waited for this fire to ignite Dad's fury, usually an eerie silence that sucked the fun out of the air. But as he loaded my little brother into the back seat and secured his seatbelt, mostly Dad just looked tired. Thank you.
To find out what happens with the rest of the story, you'll have to read the rest of the story. Thank you so much for that. I got to hear their voices from a different voice, and that was nice. Our next reader is Reverie Koniecki. Koniecki. Reverie. I think
Hello.
there you go. Hi.
Are you gonna read my bio?
I'm talking and I didn't unmute myself. Reverie
Oh,
is Reverie Koniecki is a Black writer and educator living in Dallas, Texas. Her work has appeared in Callaloo, Guernica, Post Road, and other places. She is the author of chapbooks To the God of Sore Feet and Bad Backs. I love that title. Finishing Line Press, and The Wars That Steer Us. Both of those titles are powerful, and so is Life Size. And you'll be reading an excerpt from that. Thank you.
Yes. So in Life Size, I talk about how what it's like to diagnose bipolar disorder. I can't talk today. Disorder. I almost said disaster because it could be a disaster too. And then in this particular excerpt, I'm focusing on how denial delays diagnosis as well as exacerbates symptoms. And the essay it starts on page 17, but I'm actually going to start reading from page 18 at the third paragraph down. By the time I had my third child, my depressive episodes had grown closer and closer together until they overlapped. Sadness slowly became my normal. Chasing after three kids was more than exhausting, but doing it when you're depressed is like dragging your own dead body behind you. There is little joy. My children's childhood is marked by my content. My depression didn't allow me to enjoy them. I endured them. I'd lie on the couch with my face in the pillows while they ran circles around me. I would go up to smiling people and ask them how they did it. What magic did they have locked away? How can you smile as if there aren't grass fires everywhere? I'd ask. I live in the Bible Belt, so 90% of the time the answer was Jesus. But I had tried Jesus and still felt like peeling my skin off. I had this burning feeling to do something, but I couldn't focus it into anything tangible. I felt as though I was trapped and missing out on something. This made me sadder. I couldn't sleep. I felt as if I had a motor in me that wouldn't turn off, yet I was tired beyond belief. And the civil war between me and my partner raged on. We were broke. He was rarely there. And when he was, he ignored the fact that I was not okay. My suicidal ideations graduated into urges, and I checked myself into an intensive outpatient program. When I told my mother, she said, "You're not like those people." But I was. What we all shared in common was a romance with death. There was a spattering of people from all walks of life. One rich lady whose husband had run off with his secretary, a man who was living in a hotel with his pregnant fiancée and their two kids, a man who had witnessed his cousin's suicide at the age of 13 and had been trapped in that memory ever since, a girl with red marks circling her neck, and then there was me, the woman who'd counted her pills and wondered how many it would take. After I was discharged, I went to a psychiatrist who diagnosed me with bipolar disorder. Still in denial, I took her prescription with the faith of a heretic. The drugs made me feel numb, so I stopped taking them. I didn't know what it felt like to be even. This would become my pattern over the next 10 years. I would go to a psychiatrist, convince them I didn't have bipolar disorder, and it worked. My following psychiatrist gave me a variety of diagnoses, including major depressive disorder, PTSD, generalized anxiety disorder, and attention deficit disorder. Anything was more suitable than bipolar disorder. When I did take the meds, they either made me too sleepy, made me gain too much weight, or didn't work at all. And if they did work, I'd go off them once I felt better. The result was a serrated decade. After I left my partner, I lost 40 pounds within a month. My clothes draped around me like ceremonial robes. I couldn't sit still. I always felt like I had consumed 12 cups of coffee. I couldn't sleep. My boss asked me if I was sick. I told her that I had started taking vitamins and that had sparked me to eat healthier. My kids asked me why I didn't eat anymore. I redirected their attention. My body alternated between hot and cold. My hands and legs shook. I speed talked. I felt a mixture of euphoria and melancholy. I wrote without much coherence and unfocused vigor. I didn't know I was experiencing mania. I had become so good at explaining away my symptoms that I even convinced myself that nothing was wrong.
Thank you. Thank you. The details in there and the conflict in there. Thank you so much. Our next reader is Jordan Franklin.
Hey everyone. Hi.
Hi, Jordan. Let me go ahead and read your introduction. Jordan E. Franklin hails from Brooklyn, New York. She is the author of the poetry collection When the Signals Come Home by Switchback Books and the chapbook Boys in the Electric Age, Tolson's Books. Her work has appeared in Crab Orchard Review, Luna Luna Magazine, Hanging Loose Press, SWWIM, Torch, Literary Arts, Obsidian, and elsewhere. Jordan E. Franklin.
So hey everyone, nice to see all of you, and thank you, Romaine, for curating this anthology and accepting my work. So each of the pieces are from like these longer projects working on right now. In fact, the two pieces I'm gonna read are from this my forthcoming poetry collection, which is coming out next September with BOA Editions. Like I'm very happy to say that Evie Shockley selected it for the Blessing the Boat selection. So it's
Hey.
coming out next September. And a lot of these poems are heavily inspired by my experiences in academia. And thank you so much. And the overarching idea behind this collection is that the main character, who's a troubled graduate student, finds herself in a zombie apocalypse. It's like my way of exploring things like, disenfranchisement and mental health issues. So this first poem, which appears on page 91 in this like beautiful anthology, is called Acceptance Letter, Welcome Poet to Graduate Studies. Another degree in, and you know nothing from nothing. If you want a live staging of Ginsberg's Howl, head to the bus depot. If you want to see a dying riverbed, look in the veins of the actors that sleep there. Be sure to catch all those nights Main Street lights up, making the bedsides of your youth jealous. Yet still, the closest you've been to an unfriendly gun has been on the good side of a schoolyard fence or ducking windowsills on Pacific Street at New Year's. For fun, take comprehensive exams like Xanax. Dream of insurance good enough for a therapist or a support dog. One peer recommends magnets, another a good shower head and weed, but you know you need these cracks in your brain to write. In her office, amongst her books, Professor says, "You don't look like a poet, but you'll do." And this next one is called On Monday, Poet's Head Sang and Hurt. Last time my mouth spilled, I was buckled into an ambulance. Night was too cold. A doctor wanted to fix my bad brain. Awake, the night was cold. A doctor couldn't fix my brain. DJ spun songs through me so I wouldn't think those thoughts again. Saved. Those thoughts spun through me so I couldn't think again. My skull held a gray traitor. I was too sick to dance. Life gave me a gray traitor. I was too sick to dance. From day to hour, I pretended. I continued to be unwell. Another day, another hour, I pretended. I tried to be well. Broken brain stretched out for years on the road behind me. Heart heaving, my brain stretched out for years behind me. Inside was too cold. A doctor wanted to, but couldn't fix my bad brain. Night was too cold. A doctor couldn't fix my bad brain. Last time my mouth spilled, I was buckled into an ambulance. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to do something. Jordan, come back. Jordan, come back. Can I get Jordan back?
Hey, okay. What's up?
That other piece that is in there, I want you to read that one too. Thank you so much. I have read it and reread it so many times. So
No problem, and thank you all. And I've really been moved by the readings I've been hearing, and it's great to be part of this group of writers because it's nice to be alongside people who get it. Like
yes.
one of the things about being in a PhD program is that it can be very isolating. Like I got my PhD in English creative dissertation, and like I was one of two Black people in the program, and so yeah. So this last one is on page 225, and it's called "The Real Monsters Never Being Able to Place the Sound of."
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, sorry. Which one?
That wasn't the one. Wait,
Which one?
don't you have another one?
I don't.
Oh, no. That's no, okay. I'm sorry. That's it. Okay. My bad. Yes.
All right.
Okay.
All right. The real monster is never being able to place the sound of your breathing, cracks in the walls, the lines in your head open-ended, open-mouthed, your body splintering, your blood a rhythmic epigenetics, the veins loud swelling, the bitter sweetness of your spit as it fights your mouth. You lay between the jaws of this cold apartment, your mind failing, the night split into a new act, drags itself like sun down its beaten road of sky, more breaking, all this rage turned inward, denying every ending. Your box breaths on the pillow at dawn, another unwanted day as yourself. Every part of you marveling at how you are here, how you lived through all this noise.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. All right. And our next reader, we're going to go to Nicole Evans. I think Nicole is still here.
I am.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm doing that again, aren't I? I am just like in poetry mode. You guys are just, I'm high off of poetry right now. So, all right. Nicole J. Evans is a Black woman born and reared in Los Angeles. 2024 James Kirkwood Prize nominee who creates fiction, creative nonfiction, and poetry. Pre-matriarch, Black sheep, vision alchemist, generational curse breaker, generational blessing manifester, dream catcher, tale weaver, aspiring griot, empath, Leighton Gardner, inherent beautician, poet by heart, writer by revelation, and singer of her own songs. Her IG is at It's Nicole Janine. Email is on here too, njevanswrites@gmail.com. All right.
Thank you. I am so proud and honored to be included in this very personal and very important anthology with all of these writers who are so powerfully vulnerable. Thank you, Romaine, for allowing me to share as part of my healing. First poem I'm going to read is Auntie Impossible. That's on page 28. Auntie Impossible. Watched her wither where she chose to stand still, watched her till eyes turned to dust. There's no such thing as disbelief once witnessed. When we were little, she said to make sure we kept watch as she walked next door, lest the boogeyman or Boo-Boo the Fool be out there. Made sure not to avert our eyes and count the time she locked the door, so when she asked if she did, we could assure her. Said a fungus exists that makes your hair fall out in patches, turns smooth skin the texture of orange peel, causes low self-esteem, heart attacks, unwed pregnancies, leaves eggs of glitter flecks on your skin. Won't eat food unless the dates have been checked or she's sure it wasn't the first item on the shelf. Please make sure you pull from behind. Please leave her groceries on the porch to the left on top of the makeshift protective mat made out of garbage bags. Please ensure each item is bagged separately and make sure you update her as you leave each store, leave the house when you arrive. She'll ask for a minute, but take maybe 5. She's trying to make sure she stays alive. A neighbor is crossing the driveway with no mask on. She only needs you to retrieve her medicines like the clonazepam carelessly prescribed that marries addiction with whatever mental illness she refuses to get diagnosed. Her original classic vanilla Ensure, her mac and cheese mashed potato sans gravy from a very specific KFC, her Sprite, her Farmer John beef franks, not wieners. There's a difference, and she's trying to keep her weight up lest she dwindle down to nothing. Her 1 minute quick oatmeal, her hazelnut carnation creamer, a 40-pack of Crystal Geyser bottled water and gloves, Glad trash bags she no longer wants, C&W frozen spinach, which you can only get at Smart and Final, so you have no idea how she gets her nutrients outside of her Centrum 50+ women's gummies, heavy-duty 10-inch paper plates that she assures work amazingly as both a fan and a platter. We help her, but can't recall the last request for soap at all, or a time when she didn't screen every phone call, or would answer the door or let anyone in, no matter what was happening. She has always questioned everyone's capability, dresses in black that tatters and fades, but we pretend it is as new as she needs it to be. We pick blind instead of reality. We take turns until turns took us to ventures she couldn't fathom, questions we couldn't bear to know the answers to, not that she would spill the truth. We held behind tight lips until we tittered about the glitter egg flecked fungus and rust-hued roaches in containers. Since babies, we knew this was casual. Always wondered why she chose to stay close to the womb. Perhaps she knew the mind she could lose. Holding distance didn't prevent that. So common and private, bound in isolation. Forgive me. She doesn't deserve to die the way she chooses. She deserves more. And then I'm going to share one that's not in the anthology. This is Bystander of Bipolarity. This is for all of my diagnosed family. Careful where I step, why I question, how I infer. What I say will be questioned, doubted, and drilled into the dust of meaning, obliterating and misconstruing motive. A demon this way comes to possess your universe, to pretend to be you, to change your name and face, but it cannot touch what isn't facade. It cannot replace your heart. Careful with what I express, I will be misunderstood with intention. There's no way I didn't mean to assume, insinuate, assign blame, and attribute guilt. My words point fingers with retracted nails softer than eggshells. Actual intent doesn't matter. The atmosphere I dart words into does not assume responsibility for your reactions. Defense is second nature when you live cloaked in armor built of trauma response. Diagnosed unmedicated due to dislike of side effects, too sleepy, too fat, too far from an LA-10, would rather be as uninhibited as your heart desires, as genuine as your soul requires, as natural as eyesight to daybreak, and accepted, and forgiven, unregimented and accepted and free. There were always signs. Sleep never came easily when it should have. It never took less than 72 hours to hold you, and then you might retire for at least 48 more, often returning from within, ravenous for food, affection, attention upon gaining levity, often misremembering what brought loved ones to their knees. I used to love you until I realized I never understood your battle, could never shoulder the support necessary, couldn't be more reliable to you than you could be to yourself, watched what could happen if you didn't tame your response, the suffering in your wake, the innocent victims of your unbridled self-negligence. Who could help you if you wouldn't help yourself? You never could. I've watched the defenseless as the swaying tide of emotion wrecked my sistren, kinswomen, elders, and descendants. Left me to stand alone as you all danced into immobility, numb to joy, sadness, and anger at best. Who couldn't understand the choice to abandon the balance that left you emotionally blunted, stunned into apathy? Thank you.
Amazing.
Here. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm talking. Our next reader is, let me get is Carmen Saleh. And my computer's acting funky again. There we go. And let me read your bio.
Thank you.
Yes. Talking about challenging people and diagnosis, right? Here we go with diagnosing it. And we have Carmen Saleh is a writer and a perennial learner who is as at home in class discussions as she is in reading a good book. She has articles in the Themis and Acacia journals, respectively. She was honored with a James D. Phelan Literary Award and a Solus Award for Culture and Ideas. And in 2023, she debuted a love letter, a bestseller in May and June of that same year. Carmen Estella Kennedy Saleh.com. You can find more out about her at that address.
Thank you. One L in Estella too, if anyone wants to go track it down. I am in some impressive company today, so thank you so much. I feel nothing but gratitude. And thank you, Romaine, for kind of folding me into this wonderful body of work. Diagnosing it is an essay that leans into fiction. Let me put it that way. So names have been changed. Diagnosing it. Mrs. R.M. Hall never ceased to leverage her status as a colonel's wife, never failed to mention she was educated, never fell into formation with the women of her time. She left the NCO's wives agog, guessing at her practiced affectations. She bleached her hair and hit her kitchen with a hot comb so no one would be the wiser. She wore a shade of frosted lipstick to complement what they mistook as a year-round tan. Mrs. Hall was indeed the lady. She had a choice table at the officers' club and a highball or perhaps two the afternoon her car grazed the median before exiting the base. The peach-faced MP apologized before asking to see her ID. He would grasp the tip of his cap with his thumb and forefinger upon seeing that her vehicle was registered to an officer. And she would ease her shoulders, sliding her hands into a 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock position, wondering if her charm had eclipsed her race on occasions like this. She would wonder whether this was a remnant of the boundaries that blurred her image of herself as the officer's wife and of who she was behind her pretenses. Perhaps it was this ersatz existence in this hierarchical structure that made her scream. We didn't know how to describe it. Was she upset, agitated, apoplectic, agonized by the affliction we could not name? Our eyes, wild and aphasic, watched her in silence as she assaulted us, my dad and me, with high-pitched screams. Looking back, I suppose it was the symptom of a terrible thing that went undiagnosed. A diagnosis could have brought us peace, closure, an opportunity to box it, name it, and understand it to the extent we could have gotten her some help. But that never happened. It makes me wonder if she's still screaming. So I'm going to jump over to another little part of this. This is, again, a whole essay, but it's an essay I can jump over to, through. I won't give this any kind of layup. I'll just jump right in. She would never scream or carry on in public. She would never set aside social graces in the presence of others. And she would never put her business in the street. After all, Mrs. Hall was a lady. And as such, she knew where and when to behave like one. And as this was the case, she must have been in control. And if so, why would she intentionally plague our lives with our quiet home with her vituperative screams? Ma! I remember the early school version of myself pleading, hands clasped against the sides of my head, wondering why she could not see me, or the tissue balled up in my fist like a white flag. In the 70s, every room except mine had an ashtray. Valium, aka Mother's Little Helper, belonged to a class of burgeoning psychopharmaceuticals that were prescribed unreservedly to quiet the niggling physiological and behavioral issues of women. Many of these women dealt with overlapping issues only to be treated with dismissal and dope. But there was nothing niggling about my mother's neuroses. That is, whatever pain or malevolence she thought she was experiencing, even if it began and ended in her mind, was real enough to warrant relief. And relief she sought, chasing down prescriptions with a highball, easing into a pack of Viceroy, or losing herself in a bottle of J&B. For more than a decade of my life, spirits for her were sine qua non. And as her junior confidant, I never asked why she had no qualms about conscripting me as her barkeep. A breakfast Bloody Mary with its bright celery greens, gasping at the rim of a glass, scotch and soda on the rocks, reflections of the tinkling sound of ice in a glass of piss-colored liquor, an olive impaled with its mouth agape, drowning in a chilled martini, and pouring from its pimento heart is the confounding declaration, "Mother, I love you." Thank you so much. Thank you. Ooh. All right. Our next reader is, oh my goodness, I lost my place. Our next reader, we got Carmen there. Let's go to Tiara Jones. I think Tiara is still here with us.
It's Tiara.
Tiara. Thank you,
Yes.
Tiara.
No worries.
Okay, here we go, Tiara. We are right here with Tiara Jones. She is an HR baddie by day and a suppressed creative by night. She's learning to hate her life less by expressing herself more. Writing is her latest ADHD obsession and her favorite form of resistance. The contents of her notes app are finally going public. There we go, Tiara Jones.
Thank you. Curing Eldest Daughter's Disease. It is on page 98. And I'll be skipping around. Diagnosis. Eldest Daughter's Disease. Case notes. African American. Eldest of 4. Virgo mother with possible personality disorder. Recent ADHD diagnosis. Raised conservative Christian, i.e. anti-everything. Purity messaging. Good girl programming. Self-sacrificing for the greater good. Severity. Really, really bad. Like most Black parents, my mom gave me the talk. You know, the talk. Not the birds and the bees, but the you're Black, so you're basically a second-class citizen talk. I know Black parents mean well, but telling us things like we have to work twice as hard to go half as far still can create an inferiority complex, especially when it's coming from the people you love the most. To constantly associate whiteness with what is better insinuates that Blackness is not as good. Moving into a wealthy white environment, I instantly felt less than everyone around me. She might as well have sent me into a Shark Tank on my menstrual cycle. I felt like I was on the front lines of an excavation into how the other half lives, and I felt the bumps and bruises from the very first day. I spent a good 10 to 15 years in therapy, only to realize my parents were the problem. Well, not exactly, but that's basically what the book Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents said. I realized my family constructed the eldest daughter role for me, and I somehow just adopted it. Role self, eldest daughter programming formula. Great example. No needs, all knowing, all giving, self forsaking, high performing, rule follower, at least externally. Charismatic, always says the right thing. Peacekeeper with no feelings. Unless it's that time of the month, then she's fussy. Puts everyone before herself. Taught that she belonged last. Taught to be good, be humble, be devoted, be a long suffering, non critical thinking Christian servant. Programming successfully adopted. I carried the mantle of being a good example to children both within and outside of my household, and I still bear the remnants of that pressure to this day. It wasn't until this year that I realized that this perfect eldest daughter bubble is really a prison that keeps me isolated and alone. Perfection has always separated me from the regular people, even though with the recent ADHD diagnosis in hand, I've been considered lazy at times. I was taught to follow the script and to make everyone else happy. I was conditioned to deny myself in life and love. I was perpetually juggling between being a fixer and a people pleaser, adding whatever value I could to prove myself worthy of being needed. I built so many relationships based on trauma bonds that eroded away like sand over the years. I didn't know how to exist healthily with myself or others. The world became so scary to me. As a confident Black woman, unprotected, I was told loudly that there was no place for me. Corporate America attempted to ensure my mental unraveling. Mind games were never my forte, and these white people had decades of experience navigating these halls, which were not made for me. They ran circles around me while I shrank to stay safe. I became scared of being seen. Trauma colored the lens through which I saw the world. Everywhere I looked, I saw red. I saw danger. The future I used to cling to for hope became a place of perpetual fear. All I could think about was navigating the next hardship, surviving to fight another day, proving that I was capable and that I belonged. Anxiety ruled my body as butterflies took up permanent residence in my stomach and chest. My nervous system was perpetually activated, living through trauma after trauma. I did not know peace. Over the years in therapy, I've been building my emotional toolkit and watering myself. I have been calling my energy back in and reinvesting my focus into myself. I am loving from a place of wellness and not desperation. I am centering myself. I'm saving myself. I'm shedding a life that appears successful. I'm rejecting the role self, rediscovering my true self, and curing my eldest daughter's disease by coming home to me. I have been waiting for me, and I welcome myself with open arms. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we are nearing the end here. We have Beverly George talking about mother-daughter relationships. We're kind of on a roll here. I'm
Hi.
doing
I'm
hi
here.
there.
I'm
Okay,
here.
great. So
Yes.
let's go ahead and read your bio. Beverly George is a poet who taught music course in Sumter School District, South Carolina, for 22 years. In 2022, her first chapbook, First Light, was published, followed by the second, Amazing Grace, in 2024. Her work can be found in the Pettigrew Review 2024 and in the Tuskegee Review Issue 3 2024 and South Carolina Bards Anthology 2023 through 2025. Beverly George.
Thank you so much. I am thrilled to be here and so glad that you included my poem in this anthology and such an intimate work. Really appreciate it. And I also wanted to say I suffer from the eldest daughter complex also because I was the eldest of but my family with my sister and I, but we lived with two other families and my cousins. And I was the eldest of all of them. So it's like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of pressure. It really is. And I think she expressed it beautifully. Thank you so much. My poem is called Light Switch and can be found on page 166. Light switches off, disrobes the dark. I call my daughter in this hospital room, but she answers not as the cold draft assumes I'll abandon her. On the edge of her bed, I desperately try to understand stories describing a patchwork quilt stitched with promises of a man she loved just a little too much just last spring. As we talk, we thumb through a cardboard shoebox of faded photos of her childhood before my divorce, tying threads together from the unraveling past. My frayed nerves buffered every loaded response until she whispers under her breath, I love you, Mom. Cold draft relents. Quilt squares realign like puzzle pieces patiently reassigned. I embrace her thin frame and feel her warm arms take hold, not knowing how or for how long she'll keep her light switched on. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I've got one more I'd like to slip in here.
Oh, absolutely. Okay.
It's not in the book, but it's something that we struggle with parts of our history that is not recognized and the people who suffer because of it. This is called Middle Passage, Curtains. What curtains try to hide kidnapped slaves, bound in squalid demise in swollen bowels of ships, throwing starving, seasick human cargo in forced diaspora, begging embargo? What reparations betrayed Blacks in black shadows of America's neverland, never seen, never returning to Mali, to Ghana, or Dahomey? We boldly question carefully crafted lies in almighty history books, hiding behind heavy curtains of grief. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you. Beautiful, powerful. And we're going to go from there to almost when you were reading the poem. It's interesting because you can read a poem and you read it in your voice and you read it out loud, but to hear the poet read it and almost made me cry. Some of these I almost cried. Yours was one of them. And now I don't know if I'm gonna keep it all together. Sharon Williams has a poem in the book, and we look forward to hearing your poem. I'm going to go ahead and read your bio. Thank you. Here we go. Sharon is an author, poet, and teacher in the greater Los Angeles area. And what a teacher you are. Thank you for inviting me to your workshop. You have wonderful people there. And I know you teach outside of that, but that touched my heart. She has two poetry collections, Two Truths Wise and Dark Days Light. She also enjoys fostering a vibrant writing community and inspiring others across all genres to share their stories. Sharon Williams.
Thank you, Romaine. It's such an honor to be here today. I'm reading one poem. It's on page 200. And the title is Jane. Let me get there. Jane. There's a woman named Jane who sleeps where
Sharon, I'm
shadows
so
gather.
sorry. Sharon, I'm so sorry. Could you speak up a little bit? I don't know if it was just me, but you sound a little bit
It's
low.
probably my computer. Let me
Okay.
get a little
Thank you.
closer, talk a little
Thank
louder.
you.
Yeah, I'm getting over something in my throat as well. Jane. There's a woman named Jane who sleeps where shadows gather. Her belongings are her pillows. A pocket knife, a scrap of peace. Above her, the overpass howls, with cars that once carried her to work. Her mind is a thicket of voices. Her feet, once pedicured, are caked with the city's dust. Strangers pass with quick movements, dimmed eyes, faces closed like locked doors. They tune out her sermons about the rapture, about grace. Still, she speaks hope into a world that has forgotten how to listen. Her brown legs wrapped in trash bags, her hair tangled like memory. She is a universe of love, trapped inside a system that does not know how to hold her. She still sees her high heels, still sees her baby, the one she lost before the world lost her. Tremors move beneath her skin, unseen. By the time they surface, something inside has already broken. She sits for hours, quiet, stitching together her soul, threading dignity through every torn seam, trying to become whole again. She looks up at the sky and continues stitching, not for rescue, but for herself. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I think we are almost, I know James Coates is, I think, our final reader. Wait, Stephani Booker, did you read Stephani?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I just realized. I don't know how I did that. We would love to hear you next, Stephani.
Okay, cool. I'm ready.
Okay. And then we have James, and I believe that's it. I think a couple people had to leave. Stephani Marie Booker is surviving the fire, plague, and wrath of 2020's Minneapolis, Minnesota by creating works for the page and the stage in which she wrestles with her multiple marginalized identities: African American, lesbian, lower class, and disabled. She is a recipient of a 2024 McKnight Fellowship for Writers administered by the Loft and a 2024 Minnesota State Arts Board Creative Individuals Grant. For more information about Stephani's fantastic work, go to www.athenapersephone.com.
Thank you. This is actually the second Blacklandia anthology I've been published in, and I really feel honored that Romaine actually asked me directly to submit to this. I'm just like, wow, I guess I'm making it. And I'm going to read two poems, one from my book and one I talked about earlier, if you know what I mean, Romaine.
Yes.
Okay. The first poem from the book is on page 80, and it's a sonnet titled Slumber. My therapist said I should sleep with sound, but no words, no voices, symphonies, jazz, even white noise bugs, just no speech allowed. I've been downloading freebie ambience, atmospheric tweaks, gurgling creaks, plus night forest rustles and ocean shore crashes. Singing bowl echoes, tongue drum vibrations, whispering nature and sonorous metal. But I prefer to be cradled by storms, spending the night on pillows of thunder, blankets of droplets on roofs, stones, puddles, leaves, wrapped by sheets of howling wind, stilling tinnitus in my ears, and the torment in my head. Rain, my comfort. So my second poem I was talking about earlier with people who were in this meeting early to make sure our video and audio was working. And Romaine was talking about, hey, we need to have anthology dealing with time. And I mentioned that I had written a sonnet about the difference in how time passes when you're an adult versus a child, especially for those of us who, for whom childhood was not anything to be nostalgic about. So it's an untitled sonnet, so I'm going to start with it. Last Sunday was yesterday. Went to Ma's place, ate pasta, watched Netflix, Hulu, hugged, kissed Ma goodbye at 10ish, went home. Last Sunday is today. Sitting on our butts, watching British reality TV shows on Tubi while playing on our phones and laptops. Last Monday is tomorrow. Up at 6, in the car by 7, punched in at 8, punched out at 4, back in the car, back home. This week was last week. 2 days at retail, 3 days in home office, 2 days of rest. This year was last year. Next year will be now. Childhood crawled like a prison sentence. Grown-up time flies like light through the cosmos. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, it does. And now I want to make sure that I haven't missed anybody. Thank you so much, Stephani. James Coates, I think, is the final reader. If you're here and I'm overlooking you, please say something. I don't want to overlook anybody. I want everybody's voice. All right, James, your piece.
Thanks, Romaine. Thank you, everyone, for still being here, sticking around, and for the courage to put your poems in this collection. My piece is titled "Suffocating Husk." Don't think about how you'll do it. Don't lie on your bed at 3 a.m. and replay all the mistakes, how you zigged when you should have zagged. Don't think about the more mounting debt, small paycheck, growing exhaustion drooping heavy under your eyes. Don't think about the number of people you could call to discuss these negative ideations with. Don't tell yourself nobody cares. Don't remember how your ex-girlfriend knew exactly how to make you feel small enough to keep under her thumb for so long. Don't remember the name calling by bullies in school, or how you never fit in anywhere, not even your own suffocating husk. Don't think about how you will do it, how it can't be a rope because of the history with lynching. Also, how you don't want to leave a mess you've already felt like such a burden, so a gun or knife are out of the question. Don't think about your fear of heights, how that must be why you're so bad at building bridges. Don't decide on pills so you can quietly disappear from this world to the next, inconspicuous as always. Don't think about the suit your mother will pick out for the service. Don't think about which sister will cry the loudest, or how many times people will ask your brother, why didn't he say something? If I had only known. Don't think about escaping the despair. Abuse claws its way out of your memory. All you want to leave behind. Your body going numb. There is something I beg you to do. Wait. Wait to see at least one more sapphire sunset. Wait to hear the infectious laughter of one more friend. Wait, taste one more bowl of holiday gumbo. Wait to smell one more lover's rose perfume. Wait to feel one more homie's bear hug. Wait until the day God calls you home.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
And that closed out or came close to closing out the suicidal ideation section in the book of poetry. And there were so many poems on suicidal ideation that one, that hope at the end, the wait was what got me. So I really want to thank everybody. Oh, Mervyn, you stayed the whole time. Look at you in Germany, up in the middle of the night. And just thank you, audience members who we can show our faces if we choose. Thank you for being here. This is Q&A time, conversation time. I know there's a lot of comments in the chat, but you can unmute, you can raise your hand, and we can have conversation about anything that you heard or want to talk about or chime in on.
Yes,
Feel
definitely. If you want to raise your hand, that
Oh,
might make it
wait a
easier.
minute.
Oh,
Wait a
sorry.
minute. Stephani Liggins. What? You're up. We have one more reader. We have
Oh,
one more.
You were finished? You were already finished?
We had just finished. So you're right on time. You're right on time.
Oh, listen,
Oh,
because
let me.
I have a friend that said, you need to do this. Amen. So
Oh,
I
wait a
am
minute.
in the car and I am on the road. Amen.
Okay, so amen. Let me read your bio real quick. Amen.
Okay.
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 Stephani Liggins is a wife, mother, proud grandmother, retired teacher, and an ordained minister of the gospel. After receiving a certificate in creative writing in 1985, she stopped writing, but the stories continue to cry out, desperate to be heard. So she has picked up her pen again. Let's see where the spirit leads. And I have to say, when she went to school to become an ordained minister, she went for counseling and didn't put that in there anywhere. So her focus was on counseling. So having said that, the empathy that she has towards others rings out in this piece that's in the book.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. So the title of my piece is Corpus Delicti, evidence of a crime. Too many of us, too often, navigate life through lonely places. Though not alone, our thoughts only visit our own orbit and are void of concern for others. Too often, too many of us. When trouble comes, some of us awaken and see humanity, a living soul. Too often, many of us don't. So this story, I know I need to just read it, but this story, I want you to know is true. And I hope that you have the book so that you can read my story. But I'm only going to read a little bit. But I want you to imagine a room filled with senior citizen women on the floor doing yoga. Here my story begins. Half the yoga class was sparse, with only a few of our usual delegation of seasoned women. The lights were dimmed, the music was soft and soothing as we participated in asanas and pranayamas. We sought to gain the unity of body and mind that yoga is meant to achieve. Leaving the stress of life behind, we stretched, inhaled, and exhaled with a sigh as our 70-year-old instructor modeled. The yoga room was in the rear of the gym, among several other rooms along the back wall. One need not know its exact location to find it quickly, as there is no sign. En route, no less than 40 men of all ages, but primarily young, pumped iron, lifted weights in their muscle-bound bodies on the power tower and machines meant to tone and build muscle. They sweated to impress, working hard to build the fortification of skin and bones and muscles strong. I felt safe in that building with what felt like brawn cops all around and dispersed along the path to the yoga room. But a few minutes into our session, a woman in her mid-30s entered, breaking the old lady attendance rule that day. She wore kindness on her beautiful face. She was matronly, a bit overweight, dressed in sweats, hair pulled back by a scrunchie, and carrying her own mats. She smiled at me when our eyes met, an uncommon human connection in this self-absorbed society. I returned her acknowledgement and got back to the task at hand before I missed any more yoga instruction. Doing downward dog and child's pose and spinal twists, I felt like a brittle rubber band about to pop, entranced by movement after movement. An approaching spirit violated my concentration. I heard angry voices growing louder. I turned to look out the room's glass enclosure and saw two men storming toward the yoga room. The doors were closed, but their voices were so loud they penetrated the glass barrier. Surely the multitude of Mr. Olympians outside there heard and saw these boisterous men. Surely the people at the front desk with dress shirts, slacks, and floor-shine dress shoes saw them and attempted to stop them. Surely someone would notice that danger was approaching and question the environment that had been created, right? Someone? 5 older women on the floor did not know how to take the warrior pose. The 70-year-old instructor continued to direct when the men charged into the room until the angry, animated profanity began to fly. They approached the young woman violently. Suddenly, everyone was shocked to attention. The instructor yells, "You are disrupting my class." The expected response was twice as loud. "I don't give a about your class." No further opposition was provided. The men marched up to the younger woman who was now standing to her feet, and her fear was palpable. Again, our eyes met. But for a moment in time, we were the only 2 people in the universe that I asked her, "Are you okay?" She replied timidly, "I don't know." Off my mat, this old lady in socks ran to the front desk and pleaded for the police to be called, for help to be summoned. "Please, send help, be help, help." By the time the terrified young woman was being driven out of the gym by these men, 3 male managers came out front from behind the counter and asked, "What's going on?" But dress shirts, slacks, and dress shoes are not the clothes of war. Thus, their words were not followed by action. All the Mr. Olympians continued to work towards competing for their title in decided oblivion. If the woman had been white, would the world have stopped to help her? I think that's a good place to stop right there, because as the story goes on, the question is, why didn't anybody help? And if she had been of a different persuasion.
Okay, we're not doing a sermon now.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
I'm done. I'm done. Thank you for waiting for me.
Thank you. Thank you for getting on the phone and for sharing the beginning of that story that I read quite a few times because I can't even imagine.
Amen. Thank you for all those hearts I got. Hey, you encourage me.
Okay, so now I think everybody who, I know there were a couple people who got on who didn't read or didn't get a chance to read, and I'm so sorry for that. They were local people though, so I hope that they will come to our in-person reading August 22nd. Anybody have comments about what we've read? Any questions about what's been shared?
I want to say real quick before we get into the questions in the general audience, I want to thank everybody for your vulnerability. As someone who struggles with anxiety, generalized anxiety, and ADHD and stuff, I really appreciated everybody's honesty in the anthology, and I'm making my way through it, and just hearing from everyone today was so special, and it was healing in a way, and so many people, I felt we're in each other's heads, with the things that we are struggling with. And I think that having an anthology like this is so incredible, because there is sometimes such a loneliness with mental health that we don't reach out, or we think we're in it by ourselves. And I'm not Black. I'm Mexican, and in the Mexican community, we don't talk about mental health either. We don't. It doesn't exist, right? And so to hear folks talking about the mother wound, to talking about, um, I think it was Carmen, when you read about your mother, that was a lot. It was some things, and I cannot 100% connect with that, but having a mother who doesn't believe in mental health, I can definitely connect with that. And who was it who read about being a parentified daughter, right? An eldest daughter, all of it. And James, I had to take a moment there, because there was moments that I felt you were in my head. You were speaking stuff that I had spoken to myself. So I just want to thank everybody for sharing and for reading and for creating your work. And that's what I just want to say. But yeah, if anyone has any questions or comments, um, and yes, thank you to Romaine, who has worked very hard on this anthology and who has made sure that everyone gets what they need, and it gets put together the way it needs to be put together. And it's the vision, it fulfills the vision that she had for it. So thank you, everyone. I see that Lisa has a question.
Hi, good evening. It's not a question. It's just, I just wanted to share like how powerful this was to listen to every piece of work. It just reminds me that behind every struggle, the obvious that we can see in those invisible struggles is a person deserving of compassion, understanding, and grace. This has given me just a greater appreciation for the many ways mental health impacts lives. I read the story about the eldest daughter. I completely resonated with that. I never had words to kind of express some of the things that myself as an eldest daughter with my mother, but a middle child on my father with my father. It was just powerful. Thank you, Romaine, for inviting me to such a meaningful event. I just am thankful.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa, for that comment. I love just, I'm in awe of first, every single piece that was included in this anthology, for one reason or another, I absolutely love. And then it's just a blessing beyond to hear other people appreciate and love and know that it resonates with them, that it speaks to them, that it allows us to say, yes, me too. Sharon, you want to add something?
I just wanted to thank you again and say that this was an absolutely amazing experience. Um, I've been told a good part of my life that you don't cry enough, and now that I'm in my mid 60s, I seem to be tearing up, and I teared up right away at the beginning of this. Um, uh, just to hear so many things I know or have experienced or have heard from others, and to be able to sit in this type of venue and hear everybody's story or what they know, what they've observed, and then also know we get a chance to talk about it, because there was no talking about this either within my family. There may have been some, but it was minimal. So this has just been a wonderful opportunity. I didn't share at the beginning of my poem, but I actually had a friend whose daughter was murdered, and she subsequently became homeless. The job went, the mind went. And I believe she stayed out for about a couple of years. And fortunately, she came back. She came back, apartment, job, and everything came back by the grace of God. But that just impacted me so much to actually hear her story. I would talk to her about what she went through, how she got through it, and so much of it came back to her family, the Black family. So much of it for her came back to the family and that love. Even though there were differences, there always are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It came back to that. That's
And not giving up. Nicole's poem about Auntie Impossible.
exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Jackie, you've had your hand up. Yeah. You gotta unmute yourself.
Try again. Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Rabelin. First, want to say thank you to Romaine for inviting me to this. This has been a wonderful experience, and it falls right into my work life. I'm a licensed psychotherapist with a PhD in East-West psychology. And so besides being Black and female, what I really resonated with everyone is that we all have our mental health struggles of some form because we're all of at least one marginalized group, if not two, three, and four. And the interest in the more marginalization or marginalized groups we belong to, the more our mental health is at risk. And so I think what we need to recognize is that the healing aspect of all of this is not to go into denial, which is one of the presentations that someone made. The denial is the greatest harm of all that we can do to our individual selves and to us as groups. And so what was so beautiful about all of the presentations today was, I think, the recognition that what we need to do is to share our stories and to share them often, and that we recognize that we're all worthy of being loved, not in spite of our marginalizations, but because of them. That's the healing. And so it's not about denying it, it's about owning it and being proud of it. It's the people who marginalize us that should carry the shame rather than us who are experiencing these kinds of digressions. So thank you again for letting me participate.
Oh, absolutely. That was powerful and beautiful and poignant. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your voice.
Dana?
Anybody?
Yeah. My voice. I want to really thank Romaine because she helped me to take ownership of what I was writing. I used to write under a pseudonym, and reading some of the things, some of the poems and the stories in the book made me want to say, you know what? I have to own this as much as everyone else is owning it too. You know, growing up in the 70s and listening to my parents speak about, they didn't speak about mental illness. They spoke about, oh, she's an alcoholic, and oh, he did drugs. And as I got older, I realized, oh, they're self-medicating. And that's where this bipolar comes from. And that's where this depression comes from. And that's where, you know, and they start piling up after a while, years sometimes. And it was always told to me by my grandmother that those type of things are a white man's illness and not a Black illness. And that's where I was like, that must be where the shame comes from. Because it's an illness, period. Yes. And it has no color, it has no sex, it has no religion. It just, well, you can say it just is.
Yes.
And you deal with it as best you can. Like I said, medicinal magic or prayer or whatever gets you through every day.
Yes.
So thank you for letting me be here today. And thank you, Romaine, for putting this together with love. There's so much love in this book.
Thank you so much, Dana. And I remember when you wrote to me and you said, we're going to get rid of that roulette. This is gonna be And I thought at the time, thank you for sharing that, because I thought at the time you were looking at, you know, the layout and the cover, and I didn't know that it was the richness of the voices that you said, I too am a part of this body. And so thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Dana. In the Mexican community, stuff like mental health is also white people stuff, right? But what a luxury, if we look at it that way, right? What a luxury that white people have to be able to be to have mental health issues and to be able to name it, right? To name it and to have medicine for it and to be able to know what they can heal from. And while everyone else gets to just kind of be crazy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Richard Pryor said it best. He had a stand-up routine and he talked about the drug epidemic and how it was when they could point to brown and black people who were on drugs. Look at those drug addicts. Look at those people who are irresponsible and the dregs of society. You know, except he put it in Richard Pryor humor. And he said, but then it became an illness when it was in their own families. And so, yes, and we know that a lot.
Privilege.
Yes, about privilege. And we know that a lot of it is self-medicating too, that we have these challenges but it wasn't even acknowledged until, you know. So yeah, the privilege of it. Yes. Yes.
Carmen, did you have your hand up? I thought I
I
saw
was
your
just
hand
gonna
up.
say that, and I guess this is a thing to say when we're wrapping it up. It's not really wrapping it up. This is a commencement. I kind of feel like you're springboarding us into the work that will come of this anthology, the work that will come because of this body of work being pulled together. So we're taking this on the road, folks. And in our own little silos, right? So, you know, I have some places where I'm going to be dragging the book and dragging it along with me. I mean, you know, along with my other writings and delving into these conversations. And then there's ways that we're going to collectively do this too, you know. So I just wanted to mention that this is the beginning. We're ready to go on. We're ready to do our road tour.
Yes, we're already going to Virginia together.
Yeah, and you know, we're building community.
Yes.
In many ways. So hit me up on LinkedIn. Hit me up here and there. You know, like if you have a collab or something like that, because it's a topic that now the work starts, right? It's a topic that we need to talk about. It's a topic that we need to seed in different communities. Yeah. So thanks for this commencement, Romaine. I appreciate that. You're the bomb. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Inlandia, for funding it. And it started with Katie Porter, who said, we need projects. What do you want to do? And I said, this is what I want to do. And she said, then let's do it. And then we were able to move forward with it. So thank you, Inlandia, and thank you, the writers. Without the writers, there would be no project, you guys. Yeah, this is the commencement. That's a perfect way to end this too. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day, evening, wherever you are.
Yeah. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.